and I took over her class for half an hour. I corrected my own classmates, I restored the order, and everyone, including the teacher, my classmates and my friends, they all were okay with it. I was so strong that I could even get away with stuff like that. I became this horrible person that did everything that I thought my parents would approve of. At that time, my first serious relationship started. And she thought that I was this tough, cool, hard-ass boy. But of course, this was just my shield, fighting my inferiority complex. So soon she found out that I was actually a little softie that was looking for a way to give love and maybe receive a little love back. I wanted to show the world that love can work as long as you do everything that the other person wants you to do. Well, of course that doesn't work. Be perfect is what the voices said. So eventually she walked all over me. And after 3.5 years, she ended up cheating on me. And I even tried it for another year with her, but I just couldn't trust the only person that I truly loved anymore. That was when my inferiority complex developed in this unbearable separation anxiety. In my second serious relationship, I was super jealous, extremely insecure, and I was totally giving in to my inferiority complex. The relationship ended after a year, and at that time I had already moved out of the house of my mother because of the problems that we had. Well, this is the part where my inferiority complex developed into a borderline personality disorder. I became this needy person who asked his friends if they still cared about him like 10 times a day. Does this type of behavior sound familiar so far? And doing this is like ripping out your own heart, giving it to the other person, and asking the person to please give it back to me. You're giving the other person all the control and all the power, and most of the time that person didn't even ask for it. There was nothing left anymore of this strong boy fighting his inferiorities. And it even almost made me lose my best friend. I couldn't take the pressure anymore and found different unhealthy ways to cope with my problems. And self-injury is an example of this. I isolated myself from almost everything and everyone. And within my borderline personality disorder, I developed another problem, and that was extreme social anxiety, which a lot of my friends didn't understand, and by that also didn't respect. It made me lose a lot of friends, and it was also getting in the way of my art career, because I couldn't go to any art openings anymore because of my anxiety. And I walked away from everyone who was trying to get to know me. And if people really get to know me, they'll see my shortcomings and they will leave me again. Sounds familiar? And even today I try to live up to the expectation of my parents without even really noticing it. I took a part-time job in a library, in which of course language and speaking and writing correctly is the most important thing. I work with children. I even teach a little bit. I still combine the 3 different ways of dealing with an inferiority complex. It has followed me all my life, and I want to put an end to this in a healthy way. And not now, not tomorrow, but soon. And I'd like to do it together with you guys. Did you recognize anything of this? And of course in another way, because this is just my story, of course. But if you look at the big picture and what I described, you know, fighting it and then giving in and then actually hiding from it, and not taking any more action. Do you recognize that? Well, I made a little list of things that I can do to change all this, and I'll read them to you. First thing, write down where it is coming from, what are my shortcomings, and how are you still dealing with it today. Well, that is what I just did. Try not to be what people want you to be, but be you. And write down what happens in these situations. What is different. Don't accept it when people are mean to you. Say or do something about it. And don't try to deal with everything on your own. Find help. Well, that is something that I'm gonna do. I'm in a group every week on Thursdays. And this Thursday I'm gonna do something that I have never done before. And in this bag I have my tools that I used to self-harm with, and I'm gonna throw them away in the garbage in the group. And by doing this, I hope to, for the first time, really show myself to a whole group in my most vulnerable way. And this is also something that I wanted to do for a long time. So I'm combining those two things, and I'll make another video in 2 weeks about all these things that I talked about, my list. And I'll tell you how it went, and I'll also tell you about how it went with throwing away the tools. And I hope you guys can do the same. You know, maybe we can do this together, and maybe you have other tips, better tips of what we can do with this inferiority complex thing. You know, and maybe we can just work on it together. And you can of course make a video response, but maybe you just want to make a comment. Do whatever feels right. So that was it for now, and I'll talk to you soon again. Bye everyone.